Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And tonight I have an old friend joining me, and I am so happy. It is really good to see her. This is one of the first authors who contacted me who said she wanted to be a part of the Black History Month Literary Weekend. And this was when it was just a concept. Nobody had ever seen it before, but she was one of the first people to say, I want to be a part of it. I don't even have a book yet, but it's coming. And so I want to invite Miss Christine Penn on the show. I mean, ever since that moment where she was on the Black History Month Literary Weekend, she has just done so many things, has been making noise in the literary world. She's now been published twice. She's been doing speaking engagements. She has her own talk show now. And now she has graced my presence with her presence. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, Christine.
Hi, it's a pleasure, Rhonda. It's a pleasure to be on the show. I've missed you so much. And like you said, we have a history. And,
Yes.
I owe all that to you, because, you came on, you introduced me. It was amazing how you let me demonstrate my craft. And I didn't even have a book. I told you the book was coming about, and you found so much faith in me. And it really gave me my start, someone believing in me. But
Well,
I did
I appreciate
quite
you having
believe in
faith in
myself.
me, though, because
Mhm.
you didn't know me. Even though I'm from New Orleans, I hadn't lived in New Orleans for quite a while. So I had just moved back to the city. And then probably a month after I moved back to the city, I'm doing this event. So it meant a lot to me that you saw something in the event that you wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, I thought that maybe it would be a way of me getting my name out there, getting my craft out there, people knowing who I was. And it was a great event. And I know you do it every year and it's gotten bigger and better every year now.
Yeah, and I'm doing it out here in the DC area now. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I feel like I'm starting all over again because before in New Orleans I had people who had seen the event and were coming to the event, and now I had to start all over with a brand new audience, and they seem to have taken pretty well to it, so I was happy about that.
That's awesome. So yeah, the second book is soon to be released. It's coming back out. We also starting the new show, the Women of Significance show. I've been a host of it for going on now about it's 3 years. It's going on 4.
So tell us
And
about the show. What is
well, the
women?
show the show is actually a show about a voice with a power with a purpose. Because there are a lot of talk shows, but I like to find problems for solutions. So the show is like a voice of the community. It tells what's going on. It talks about different subjects that we are dealing with as worldwide as well as local. We know crime is a big thing. We know even immigration is a big thing. So it dives into a lot of subjects that sometimes we're afraid to scratch the surface with.
So this isn't just a literary show. You're talking about all kinds of subjects.
Yeah, we talk about all kind of stuff. We talk about things going on, but we do have a segment that we dedicate at the end of every month, and it's called the Read. It's where we promote reading and literature because I am an author. So I do promote that the most because I do realize that reading is knowledge, and I read myself personally.
Yes, yes, absolutely, you do. And in fact, you just had a book signing at a local eatery in New Orleans called Melba's.
Yes, I did.
And I love,
That was the
yeah,
most. I've
yeah,
done a lot of book signings, but that one right there was the most rewarding one
yeah.
because I was giving back to our community, and it was just so rewarding to just give, to put your work, your craft, your story in
Yeah.
somebody's hand, and they can relate to what you have been through, what you're going through, and you can help them. Writing is a way of, to me, expressing your experiences. It's also a way of reaching many people that you probably will never meet or see.
This
But
is
your story has made an effect in their life and have touched them in some kind of way to give them hope or give them whatever they may be looking for, dreams, goals. It shows that anything is impossible. Anything is possible.
right. Now, one thing I love about Melba's is that's what they're all about. I mean, giving away free books,
Yeah.
giving authors an opportunity to sign their books. They even have a podcast platform for people who may want to do live podcasts. They can do it right there. So,
Hmm.
and it's amazing. As long as I was in New Orleans, I didn't realize that until I came back home to visit. So,
Yeah, Mel,
it's
she
like,
she's definitely she's definitely a milestone in the community. She gives back a lot. And she's a very, very nice person, very nice person. I just like the idea that when you go there, it's like you're walking through a library, or you're
yes,
going through some
yes,
kind of literary exhibit, a museum. I mean, it is so phenomenal to how the books are just everywhere. When I first walked there, I didn't even know a place like that existed in New Orleans. So I was like taken away to know what the city really has to offer. And it just was so exciting walking in, just seeing all the books and the literary and famous authors. I mean, like Michelle Obama was in there.
hmm,
President of the United States was in there. It was not just local authors, but authors from all over the world.
awesome. So now you weren't just signing. Your first book was "Girl Stop Tripping," which we have to talk about. I've read that book, but you have a second book now.
Yeah, the second book is coming out in January. That book has been taking a little process because of the ideas. I am an author, but I take my craft very seriously. I don't just like to, some people, I don't just want to write anything. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So sometimes it just takes a little time to develop your thoughts, your creativity, and the message that you want to deliver. I don't want to just put out any message, because the book represents who I am.
No, you're absolutely right. People will know your books far before
Right,
they ever meet you. So you want to always put your best foot forward.
right.
So well, tell me about Girl Stop Tripping. Let's talk about that book and then we'll go into the second book.
Girl Stop Tripping is a book that comes from is a book about a young woman who grows up in a world like women are today, looking for their identity. And the reason why I wrote the book is because actually at that time in my life, I was doing a transition. And it's about a girl who never really had a mother figure in her life. And
Mm,
so she had to figure it out. So she went through a lot of transitions in life, bumps and bruises, ups and downs, and she found her way. But the more of the book is when she gave her life honestly to Christ and
yeah.
she turned her life over to Him, she really found her way then. She tried the world, she tried different things, but once she realized that God had made her the way that He did, with a mother or without a mother, then she kind of found her way.
So this, I mean, you're describing the book kind of as a fiction book, but this isn't actually a fiction, is
It's
it?
a memoir. The book is actually a memoir. The book has it's really my life story. I grew up without a mother, was raised by a grandmother, and
Mhm.
like many young women out here have experienced abandonment issues, trust issues, sexual issues, just a lot of different issues. And
Right.
that book gave me it healed me because I was able to express all those years of things that I had inside. And I found writing to be an outlet when I was coming up as a little girl. I wasn't really good at expressing myself, but writing was my way of expressing myself. And so I found comfort and I found an escape, as they would say, in writing.
And that's a beautiful thing. I say often that writing is a way to build your own worlds or to even live by what I call the what if factor. I
That's
like,
right.
for instance, what if I had responded this way instead of that way? You can write that in a book and
Yeah.
just let your imagination run wild.
And that's what I like about writing. It's like writing it's just like it has no limits. Think about what's her name, who wrote about the sexual feelings that she was feeling and everything. Think about that. It's like writing just gives you that no boundaries.
Yeah.
You can express yourself in ways, and you can even make people have think outside of the box. Like they might have didn't think of this that way, but now that they've read your book, that you give them a different perspective on the same situation. So writing it's the most phenomenal thing that I think God has gifted me with.
Amen. Amen to that. So, when do you feel you found that love for writing? Was it as you were a child or when you got older?
No, it actually started when I was a kid. I always kept diaries. Growing up in a home that was, like I said, full of, dysfunctionness and stuff, it was my scapegoat. So I used
Yeah.
to always keep diaries. So I would always write to myself, and I would always just write to myself. But coming up as a little girl, there was a cousin of mine to show you how manifestation is real. And she felt that all the bruises and knocks and things I had went through in life, she felt that at some point it should have knocked me down, but it never did.
Mm,
Like I went through the different things like all women go through. I went through, I've been certain things. And she used to always tell me she always said I would write a book. She said, one day, you're going to write a book and it's going to be a bestseller because you've lived some of the things that people are talking about. So it was like manifestation from a little girl. And I guess at some point I believed in it. So when I first wrote the book and it came into forefront, I said to myself, oh, wow, she's been saying this to me all my life.
yes.
So that's the truth, letting you know that people can honestly speak things
Yeah.
into your life.
Absolutely. And I think that you just hit on a very important point. Often, I think we feel like we have to motivate. When I say we, I'm talking about we as a community, of course. We feel like the only way to motivate someone is to say things like, you ain't never going to be nothing, because we think that's going to make them say, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. But if you say those negative things to a child over and over again, they start to believe that, and they think that they're never going to be anything. They think that they don't deserve love. They think that they don't deserve a better way of living. So we've got to learn to speak life into our young people. If
Yes, we do.
if that relative had not said those things to you, do you think you would have become a writer, or would you have even had an interest in it?
To be honest with you, I never really thought about that. I never really even considered it. I just know that as I began to write the book, and as the book became not just on paper but a reality, then it
Yes.
set in my head who had been speaking this into my life from a little girl. She just used to always say, "You're going to be an author. You're going to be a writer." She said, "Your life is so fascinating. People need to hear this." And she would always say that. But growing up, like you say, as a child, being saying you're not going to be nothing, you're never going to amount to nothing, and you start to believe that. So I just think like writing was just my scapegoat to say to I formed my own, how should I say, my own little world in
Yeah.
my writing. I found peace in writing, joy in my writing. It's like I said, it was my scapegoat. I would imagine I was on a beach, or imagine I was on a mountaintop, or I was playing in the water. I'm a water girl. I love the water. So I
Yeah.
would imagine I'm swimming with the fishes. And, just it's, like I said, writing can take you so many places that you never even dreamed of, you know. So it's just, and that's a question that I never even thought of.
Mm. I mean, I think that had so many people not told me, hey, you're smart, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. I don't know that, because I made so many mistakes growing up. Had people not been sowing that inside of me and telling me how smart I was and how I was going to do that, how I was going to be a lawyer and all these things, I don't know if I would have continued to strive for what I strove for. And that's the reason why I asked the question.
Yeah, I know people don't like to say this, but people always say, even ministers say, "Oh, science." But I'm an Aries, and I believe in horoscope. I just do, and I'm a born leader. So what I would do is, if you tell me I couldn't do something, I would just channel that and make make you see that I can. But everybody's not built on that level. You know what I'm saying? Some people are not built like that. Like you said, if somebody they look up to mom, dad, uncle, auntie, telling them these are people I'm supposed to look up to, supposed to respect, and you're saying to me I won't be anything, then that can take an effect, a very hard effect on a child. So you have to be mindful what you say to people. But for some reason, I just dialogued it to another avenue, and I just had this dreams are always being something in life, even though I didn't come from that I just knew it was better. I just knew it somewhere had to be better.
Absolutely, and it's a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Now Joyce Jennings just put a message on here. She said, "You are speaking my life story."
Oh.
Yes, I mean it's a beautiful thing, and I'm really glad that not only did you start writing, but you turned your writing into a platform. So now you actually were doing speaking engagements. So can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about how that came to be?
Well, people just started reading a book, and then all of a sudden, they just wanted me to come and pour into them from the book itself. The first chapter is called "What Is a Woman?"
Mm,
And it's because a lot of us right now are trying to identify who are we. And a woman can be identified in so many different definitions. She can be classy, and then she can be whatever. I remember marrying my husband, and I told him, I said, I could be any woman you want me to be.
mm.
He's like, what? I said, I could be any woman you want me to be. Anyone. I can be whatever you need. Home girl, street girl, ride or die chick, but some people don't have that flair and confidence in themselves to say that. But that's 12 years later, he found out I could be whatever he want me
There you go. There you go. Now,
to. So
what was that? I believe it was I believe it was last year. You won an award with Black Authors Rock.
yes, yes, I won for the best devotional book of the year, and that was a great, great accomplishment. And I was like, "Well, thank you." I was like, in eyes because it's like you grow up and you hear people say certain things, and it's sometimes you're like, "Me, me, the girl who grew up with no mother, the little girl who came from the projects." It's like you can't believe you did this. But it's one thing that we all have to understand. No one can take your achievements away from you.
Absolutely.
Nobody can do that. Those are personally something you gave, your sacrifice, time, effort, money. That's yours. And I mean, and that's how I knew that the book had made a difference. Like when you get these awards and you get these, achievements, it's about reaching out to other people. It's not just for you anymore, but it's about helping somebody else to understand. Like, your sorority said that, there's help. If I did it, you could do it. If I got me and you have the same story, listen to my story, you can relate. I can show you, how to get through that. You can show me how to get through that. You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. Iron sharpens iron. So now tell me about the second book.
Now, the first book was more or less about a memoir. So, but this second book, I'm actually telling you what to do because a lot of us, like for example, you could say, like for example, I would say okay, you say, well, Christine, start the podcast, but I wouldn't know what direction to take. So the
Mm,
second book is more like giving directions and showing you, what to do. Like the first chapter is called personal responsibility because a lot of people today they want, I find where they want other people to be responsible for their outcome, but actually you are responsible for your outcome. It doesn't matter where you are, it's where you chose to go. So it's personal things, it's personal choices that we make that, delivers our outcome on things. So this book is more like about giving direction, and it's called Girl Get It Right.
Girl, stop doing it, girl. Get it right. Are all of your books are going to be that way?
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to, so like when you see the book and you say, oh, this, the first called Girl Stop Tripping. Now this one is Girl Get It Right. So, first I told you to stop tripping, get over your aches, your pains,
Right.
abandonment issue, trust, and I'm showing you, girl, you decided to get over that. So they coincide kind of like with each other.
Well, I'm not mad at it. I mean, because those are the types of titles that get people's attention.
Yeah. They want to say, now who is she to tell me to get it right? So definitely, so that's what's called Girl Get It Right. Because Ron, we live in a society, where everybody, I don't know why, this entitlement attitude, it blows my mind, but we generation X. So So we had to like work, you came out the womb, your mom would tell you, don't walk on the back of your shoes. They went through the rough and dust, and our kids are so much blessed than we were, you know. So it's like, I'm just trying to help sisters to get it right, Stop making these mistakes.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. So when do you think the book is going to be out? I know you said
Well,
next.
I'm looking at next year around February or March because I'm currently working on it now. So I'm definitely putting the writing into it. I'm revising it. So I'm definitely doing a lot of things, but it's going to be called Girl Get It Right.
Well, Annette Hammond says she loves that title.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And that's another thing, Rhonda, is sometimes titles don't generally come sometimes. Sometimes you gotta start writing. And then after you write it or you dig deep into
Don't
it.
keep putting off writing because you can't think of the title. The title can come another time.
Exactly. A lot of people always trying to think of the title. What should I call this? But once you start writing and you start diving into it and you start getting your characters and they start doing things, then it automatically just comes to you, oh, this is what this book should be called.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, there are a lot of books inside me, Rhonda, that I've written, that I'm writing, because I like, if a thought come, I go stick it in this chapter, that chapter. And there's one called The Woman of Two Hearts.
The Woman of Two Hearts. Okay, do tell.
Rhonda said, what? Yeah. Now, that's a book inside of me, too, that I'm going to be writing. The Woman of Two Hearts.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that one. I am looking forward to it. But I did put your website in the chat, and it's now on the screen, www.shepens.net.
That's correct. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, make sure that you go to her website and you can get information about the books. And is there also information about the podcast?
Yes, there's also information about the podcast. The podcast comes on live on Facebook every Monday night at 7:00. We will be back August the 14th. And we got some more exciting segments that are coming out. And look for it. I can't wait to get back with my audience and start talking again. Now, this podcast, we're going to be talking about, we're heading more about relationships. So we're going to be diving into relationships because sometimes I think people have gotten away from what they truly mean.
Yeah, too bad our shows are going to be on the same night because I have been meaning to. I don't know if you saw the panel discussion I did a couple months ago on. You probably didn't because our shows are on the same night and the same time. But I did a panel discussion on colorism.
I saw that. I did see it.
See that one. Oh,
I went back later and I went and looked at it. That was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that panel. So I want to do another panel to discuss relationships. So yeah, so too bad you won't be able to be on that one because you're going to be doing your show at the same time I do. Actually, wait a minute, your show comes at 7:00, right?
Yeah, it comes. My show. Well, you are an hour ahead of me,
and
I'm an hour behind.
I'm
so maybe, keep me posted. Maybe we can do something together.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Joyce said that she wants a copy of your new book, Girl Get It Right.
So I got you, Joyce. I'm gonna get you information from Rhonda. I will definitely put it out there. Definitely.
Now, welcome, Joyce. She's watching us from our LinkedIn audience. So our show is on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So so I want to welcome Joyce and our LinkedIn crew in because this is pretty new territory for me. Okay, Jan, I want you on the show. So we will need to talk. If you go to my website, and I will put it in the chat right now, www.tvimagesolutions.com. If you go to my website, you can find information on the Work With Me page on how to be in the Horizons Author Lounge. I love having authors, and you don't have to be an author just once on the show. So anytime, Miss Christine, you want to come back, all you have to do is say the word.
And definitely, you have to come on the Women of Significance show.
I do.
Yeah, but I love for you to be in person. So when you come home, please stop by the platform. I would love for you to be our guest.
I need to make sure I do that because I do want to be on your show, and I know you do your shows in person.
Yes, a
Um,
lot of them are done in person. Yes,
yeah.
and I guess I just like the one-on-one. You know, I guess this is awesome because it's so awesome how we can connect. I'm in New Orleans, you're in Virginia, and are you loving Virginia? Are you loving
Well,
your new?
actually, I'm in Maryland, but they're all close to each
Yeah,
other.
they're all close.
See.
Yeah.
Plus,
Uh-huh.
we got people out here, huh?
Yes, I do. I lived out there for like 4 years. I love Rhonda. I love it. Oh my God, I love it,
Yeah,
Rhonda.
I
I
love it too.
miss it.
Um,
I
you
miss
know,
it.
yeah, I do miss home sometimes, but I do love being here as well.
Yes.
I love the vibe here.
Yes.
Something to do here. Lots of black folks
Yes.
here. This is a great place to be. I
It
enjoy
is.
it. There's nothing like home, so
Right.
I hurry up and get back home for a while.
Yeah. But definitely, so like I said, I loved it there. So much opportunity, so much
Yes.
growth, so many things you can do, so many things you get involved in. So I love it, love it, love it, love it there. I love my city too, but I would be where you are if I had a chance.
Well, our next guest is supposed to be here at 7:30, but since I don't see him in the waiting room, if you have time, we can hang for a couple more minutes until he
That's
gets here.
fine. That's fine. So,
All
like I
right.
was saying, we could talk about the new show. So, the new show is coming out. It's coming out for season 7, and we've been 4 years. We've been on the air, and like we talk about all kind of things. We bring about awareness to our community. We talk about things that are going on local. We talk. I dab into some of the social things on social media. Like, we just have conversation. It's a show with
Right.
conversation. We have exciting guests that tells marvelous stories, and we dive into that. We have a new segment called The Naked Truth that we're going to be displaying. This is a new segment that's going to come out. It's going to be on the 1st and the 3rd of every Monday. And so
Okay, now you gotta tell me what the naked truth is about now.
the Naked Truth is going to be with Dr. Truth. And he's a
Okay.
yeah, Dr. Truth. So they're
Yes.
going to be other people sharing the platform that's going to be bringing on their expertise in different segments. So the segment is going to be called The Naked Truth, and we have a segment where we have guests. The guests are
Mhm.
more than welcome to come on. It's free. They can sign up. They can be a guest on the show, talk about their business or talk about whatever. It's like an open platform to give people a voice who never had a voice. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
how does a
basically,
person get to be on the show? Do they need to go to your website?
yeah, they can go to the website or they can email me at Penn, Penn, my last name, first name at Gmail, number 4 at gmail.com. Or they can go to Women of Significance Show 7601 at gmail.com.
Okay, and all of that information is on shepens.net, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Awesome,
ma'am.
awesome, awesome.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna flash the website one more time for anybody who might have missed it. But here's the website. It's on the screen now, www.shepens.net. That's
Yes.
SEPENNS.net.
Yes.
All right. Well, Christine, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I
I
really
appreciate it. It's
reconnect.
been nice. It's so nice seeing you. So beautiful. I
Oh,
wanted to tell you, I like when you did the skin thing. Your skin's like, I was like, it's so beautiful. You
oh,
know.
I have to blame that on my daughter because she likes to make her skincare products and I like to use.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm telling you. I was like, okay, well, So is marriage anywhere in the
How
plan?
you asking me that? No, he'll ask me when he's ready to ask me.
I know you said wow, but I know you said Christine. You don't know what she gonna say.
I sure don't, but that's what makes me you. I love you, Christine. Yeah.
But I miss you so much, Rhonda. I do. You're one of my favorite people, and
Oh,
you've
thank
been my mentor for a long time. So.
you. But I appreciate you saying that. I love you too. Oh, I lost her. There she is, Christine. Okay,
Yeah.
real quick. Annette wants to know if you have a Facebook.
Yes,
And
I do. My Facebook is Christine Penn. And
say what?
also Women of Significance Show has a Facebook too. The Women of Significance Show is live on Facebook. You can like it and follow it. My personal page is Christine Penn.
All right, thank you once again. I'm looking forward to watching the show, and even if I miss the show, I can watch the replay.
Yes, ma'am. You can go watch the replay.
On the same night. I'm gonna always make sure I support you. Anytime you need me, all you have to do is say the word.
Oh, that's so sweet. And you also too. This in too. I need to come down now. If you ever, I'm gonna hit you up on Messenger. I got some ideas.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
My beautiful friend with the little funky glasses. I love the glasses. All right, you enjoy the rest of your night. I love you.
Sure will. Love you too. It's been a pleasure.
All right, take care. Same
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Miss Christine Penn. Now, joining me in the Author Lounge is Mr. Kwame McPherson.
Can you hear me?
I hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right. How's it going tonight?
It's good. It's great. It's just hot. Where I am is pretty hot. So,
where are you?
I'm in the Caribbean, right?
Oh, okay. I knew you were from the Caribbean. I didn't know that you were still there. I thought you lived in the States.
No, I don't. No.
Oh, okay. Well, what time is it there?
It's now 6:30.
Oh, okay. So it's not too bad then.
Yeah. It's just hot. It's hot. Really hot.
Okay, well, welcome to the Author Lounge.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Hold on, I'm getting this kind of feedback in the. Hold on, 1 minute. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this. I'm getting I have a fan that's rotating. I'm in Jamaica.
You hear that, Mark? He is in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Which part of Jamaica?
I'm in the capital, Kingston.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I always love to meet other people from around the world and exchange about storytelling and stories. So thank you.
Well, I want to thank you because I invited you to be on the show. You didn't even answer my message. You just went straight to the site and signed up. I was like,
okay. Yeah. I like meeting people. Like I said, I love people. So yeah. So I love to talk about my passion, which is writing.
Yeah, and first of all, you do have a passion. Well, first of all, Mark says that he's Haitian, so you guys are.
Oh yes, very well. Yes, we are.
But you do have a passion. You actually just won an award.
Yes, I did. I won an award for the Commonwealth, which is the Commonwealth countries, Commonwealth Short Story Prize. So I won for the Caribbean and I won for the global. I won for the world, for the Commonwealth countries, which the Commonwealth makes up about 54 countries. There were 6,642 submissions.
Wow.
28 shortlistings, regional winners. So 5 regional winners. I was one of 5 for the Caribbean, and I also won for the entire global, so the entire Commonwealth thing, the entire world.
You beat how many authors?
6,642 submissions, stories, yeah.
Wow, you right. Now, you take this serious.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm writing with my passion. So yeah, so I was able to win. Yeah, so I'm grateful.
Well, what did you write?
I'm the first Jamaican to win it, actually. So there you go.
Say what? You prefer what?
I'm the first Jamaican to actually win the Commonwealth. So.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. What's
the story about?
Funny enough, the story is about an African Caribbean man, in Florida, driving through the Panhandle, and it's about there's a town in Florida that's called Ocohee. I don't know if you know about it, northern Florida, and it used to be a black town back in the day before it was burnt down. A lot of black towns were burnt down in the 19th, 20th century, right? So Ocohee was one of them, and the story is based on his journey of going to the town actually materializes out of nowhere, and it's also about ancestry, it's about spirituality, it's about a black man's journey because he was stopped by the police. So there's also that in terms of brutalization what that aspect of the storytelling. So it's a mixture of Caribbean, African American, African spirituality all mixed up into one. That's why I won the award, I guess, because of the way all those stories came together to create.
It's a fiction story, but you have a lot of history in it.
Exactly, it's a fictional. Exactly. So Okoye is a real town, and around that, obviously, is the history of Okoye in terms of itself. But there's also elements of even aspects of the character being having PTSD because he's also an ex-army man. So there's aspects of him being a black man who's had depression. So there's very different elements in the story of that come out.
I was just going to say those are a lot of layers. Now, how do you write a short story with that many layers without going over your word count or without putting too much information in? How do you edit yourself with something like that?
Yeah, it's I would say it is a skill. It's the ability to draw out elements of what you want to say, but also making it vivid, real, connecting, engaging. And it does take, because I've been writing for a long time, so it does take away of putting words together in order to draw out what you want to draw, but still tell the story. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah. So it is a skill, I guess you could say, that I am blessed with. And it's told by winning the award, you know. So
How long have you been writing?
oh man, from forever. I've been writing from. I always say, growing up in the Caribbean, because I grew up in the Caribbean, and we always taught how to write in regards to primary school. You're taught to write poetry, essays, compositions, and so I started from then really. But I didn't realize how good I was at it until I had left Jamaica and gone to England to live for a while. And whilst in England, somebody asked me to do a poem, and that's how I started. That's how I really began. But even then, I only took it on as a hobby. But it was about 2006 when I was going through a depression myself that it actually, when you're in a particular space or place, you're asking questions. You know, you're asking the creator, you're asking universe, you're asking God in that regard, and the ancestors. And the answer came back to me that what was it that you're actually good at, and it was writing. And I said, you know what, let me focus on doing writing. And so I started to engage a bit more in my writing and came up with my last book, my latest book, which was My Date with Depression, which is about my experience with depression. And all the answers came from there, you know, from that experience. And then from there on, I just kept writing and entering competitions and getting awards and yeah, and it was signposted along the way until it culminated in the Commonwealth one, you know, and yeah, various partnerships and collaborations like The Heart of a Black Man, which is behind me, which is a book from out of California, which I was honored to be a part of, the 30 other co-authors within it, and I'm the only Jamaican in it or African Caribbean man in that book. So there's been a lot of signposting along the way, and yeah, these are the things that have shown, the rewards that have shown that I'm doing the right thing, you know.
Yes. So, well, tell me a bit about The Heart of a Black Man. How many authors are a part of the book, and
30.
what did you write about? How many?
Okay, 30. There's 30 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, behind it is a sister by the name of Dr. Talisha Berry. She's out in California, and she has a magazine called Conscious Woman Magazine, and the offspring of that is Conscious Men Magazine. And the idea came to her to put a book together that is dedicated to Black men. So she put out an email and said, who's interested in being a part of this project? And I said, you know what, sounds good. I can share my journey in regards to having my experience with depression, and hopefully it can help on someone else. And every man in there is a very powerful Black man of some significance, telling his journey or telling his story or telling his experience. So The Heart of a Black Man is basically almost a Bible for Black men to a great extent, and of which you have 30 disciples telling their story. You know,
To choose a different thing to talk about.
yeah. So every Black man in there has something different to talk about, but it's about his own personal journey, his own personal experience, and which that has enabled him to be who he is today. So they're very powerful, 30 powerful stories, strong stories of men who are being vulnerable, being open, you know. Yeah, so it's very powerful book, very powerful book.
It sounds like it. And has it been released already?
It has been. It became an Amazon bestseller last month, 2 months ago, I think it is. So
Oh,
it's
that's
been.
great. You told me that. Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's out. It's a bestseller, and it's online. It's on Amazon, and anyone can do a search and find it.
Oh, that is amazing. So
Yes, it is.
you've just been busy, and when you write, you take it seriously. Do you
Oh
have
yeah.
a process that you like to do? Do you write when it hits you? Do you only write at a certain time? What is your process?
I, I'm constantly writing in my head. So I'm
Oh,
constantly. So for example, I like to enter competitions as the Commonwealth is one of which I entered. So and for every competition that I enter, I always write an original story. Always. But my storytelling is from an African center perspective, whether that's African Caribbean, African American, so it's African diaspora perspective. And as of late, because I didn't used to write in that regard, but so for example, before I would call my characters Mark or Karen or Carol. Now there'll be Aqua, Kwame, Quasi. You understand? So I've changed who the characters are in terms of how I write, and this is only very recently. And since I've done that, I have seen a marked difference in regards to the engagement and engaging and exposure of these stories. So, but my process is I'm writing all the time. And for example, I'm entering a competition soon. I've written a bit of a story, and I tend to freestyle. I don't tend to. I may have a story. I may start a story one way, and I may have an idea of what I want the story to say, but I don't tend to outline a plot. You know what I mean? I just write and see wherever the story goes, that's where it takes me. So
right.
at this point in time, I'm writing a story, and I'm at the point where, okay, what's going to happen next? So I come away from the story, and just allow the answer to come, and it has. So now I'm going to go and finish it, and then I'm going to submit it as an entry. So and again, the characters in it are you know what I mean, when you're going through the story, you realize that these are black characters based on the description and so on and so forth. But the setting is a futuristic setting. You probably would call it Afrofuturism, and elements of sci-fi, elements of horror in it. So again, and I just allow it to flow. But my best writing tends to be at night. I do love writing at night, because after an entire day, and I'm more energized at night. So
So is that your way of winding down then?
it probably is, Funny you say that, Rhonda. It probably is. It is a way of winding down. So I probably watch the news or something comes up, and because I love reading, I love history, I love seeing stuff that has gone before and stuff happening now, and those ideas, something will come out in terms of me just putting pen to paper, so to speak, and it comes out in the story.
Wow. Okay. I like that actually. Because I used to write at night, and I've actually found that now I edit at night, but
Right.
my own writing, I have to do it in the morning.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I do try to write other times, but my best writing comes out at night. I guess because I'm inspired throughout the day or whatever. But yeah, my most powerful writing comes out at night.
well, now, when you write, do you just sit down and just have at it? Because I know you said you're kind of writing in your head the entire day. So how do you get what's in your head onto your computer?
Just sitting from my computer and just allow it to flow. That's exactly how I do it. Just allow it to flow. Like I said, I'm a freestylist. All right, the story can go this way, and then the next thing it goes veer off to somewhere else. So yeah, I just allow it to flow. I just sit in front of my laptop literally, and just start typing, and just allow it to flow.
Okay, just I mean, and flowing is good. Now, do you edit yourself while you're flowing, or do you just let it all out and go back later?
Yeah, I let it out, and then one of the things that the best tool that's ever been invented, even recently, is the ability for laptops to read aloud, or to have the AI, what I mean, the reading aloud, or narration software that can enable you to hear what the actual story sounds like. So
And
once it's been
that's a really good thing, because sometimes what we're seeing with our eyes does not
yeah,
always translate to our ears. So we think
exactly.
it makes sense. And then when we hear it and like, wait a minute, what was I saying there?
Exactly, and so one thing a beautiful thing, like I said, tool that I have on my laptop is read aloud. And when I listen, I said, "Oh, words missing here," or that doesn't flow right. So that enables the writing to be tighter, actually,
Yes,
because you can go back and correct it, right? So yeah, so that's a beautiful tool that I use to enable my writing to be much tighter than what it is, and it has helped immensely to hear back what I've written.
oh yeah, I can imagine that. I used to teach journalism, and I would tell my students when they finish writing their news story to read it to themselves out
Yeah,
loud, because often you're going to hear mistakes that you just didn't pick up with your eyes. So
exactly,
that's a
exactly.
great tip.
Exactly. And it's only recently that I said, oh, let me try this AI thing and see how it works. And it has helped to really make the writing so much tighter, so tight in regards to, like I said, flow, grammar, the context of a scene. It enables you to revisit and and to correct and to review what you've written. So it has helped immensely.
Well, now there are some people, especially in the literary community, who have a bit of a problem with AI because they think that it's taking the place of
Yeah.
actual writing. But it doesn't sound like that's the way you're using it.
No,
What do you think about AI? I mean, do you think it's a help or can it be a hindrance to
it
the
can be both, but the difference with the thing with AI, and what this is what people shouldn't fear, especially if you're a writer. AI can write a story, but it's going to write a story that's factual. And when I say factual, I mean it's devoid of emotion. You know what I mean? It's devoid of feeling. Fine. AI can do that, but if for a true writer, you know what I mean, you can use AI to probably create a plot or to create a framework of a story. But in order for it to be true, there has to be humanness in it, and an AI can't do that. You know what I mean? And that's what I found. I experimented. I said, all right, write a story about whatever it was, and it wrote a story. But I said, yeah, but this is devoid of humans, really, which it was. You know what I mean? Because there's no feeling, there's no
yeah?
emotion,
So
there's
it
no,
might
there's
write a story, but it's not going to give the heart that you can give yourself.
exactly. So there's no engagement, really. It's almost like literally black and white. Whereas with a writer, you can write black and white and gray. You know what I mean? So you can get in between, like I said, drawing out the emotion, getting people to understand the character. AI can't deliver that. AI can't do that because it hasn't been created that way. You know what I mean? It's just a machine trying to tell a story, and it's going to write how it is as a machine would. But so I don't find it as a threat. I find it as a way of enhancing the, the ability to write. Really, you
It
know.
makes a whole lot of sense. I love the way you
Yeah.
broke that down. Now let's talk a bit about characterization. How do you create your characters? Do you use observation? Sometimes I like
Yeah.
to just watch people and then I kind of build a whole character around the people that I'm watching.
Exactly that. I love watching people. I, lo- I love watching people. When I'm outside, it's just because it's amazing when you watch people and you create and you start to create a story in your head about that person's background. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even like I said, even I love watching news. I love watching reading all the time. So I love watching movies and films, whatever it is. So you're able to create the characters based on what you've seen of even people around you and even your own experiences. So it's people watching is one of the things I love doing, because exactly like you said, you can create stories just based on seeing what someone looks like and or how they dress and that kind of stuff. So for sure, that's how I build my characters based on observations.
Yeah, quick funny story. I remember one time, this was a few years ago. I was
Yeah,
on and we just happened to look over at the table next to us. And there was a man and woman. I guess they were on a date, but they were both on their phones, not looking at each other.
right.
And so we were like, "You think they're mad at each other?" And then we just kind of made a whole
So
story
story. Yeah.
based on those two just looking like they weren't even speaking to each other, both on their phones. There was no food in front of them. I'm like, "What do you think they're texting? What do you think they're doing?" And we just had a good time just watching them.
Yeah. So yeah, you can, yeah, exactly. I'm funny. A few short stories I started that way by just observing couples and wondering what the story was between them. So yeah, it's people watching. I love people watching.
Yeah.
I do.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
everywhere, anywhere. I watch people everywhere and anywhere.
All right, now you have your short stories. You have your Commonwealth Story Prize winner, and
Yep.
then you have the story that's in the heart of a Black man.
Yep.
Do you think you'll be writing a full length novel anytime soon?
Oh yeah, I've got a pipeline full of novels to write. You know what I mean? I've got a romance novel set in Jamaica. I've got an action thriller set in Jamaica. I've got to write. I'm writing a sci-fi trilogy. I've done a couple of westerns. What else? Yeah. I've done historical. I'm doing a historical fiction,
Okay.
also set in Jamaica. So there's quite a number of longer pieces in the pipeline to complete. And I'm in the process of doing so. I gotta do that now, sooner rather than later, really. So and Okohi, the one that won for the short story prize, I have to create that into a longer piece.
Okay, so I was just going to ask, are we going to have a chance to read this story, because it sounds like something I want to read.
Yeah, I'll send you the I'll send you the let's see if I can send it to you.
Well, I appreciate you doing it. I want you to publish it so everybody can read it.
It's up on there's a UK literary site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a UK. Let me see in the private chat. There's a UK literary site where people can actually go into and actually read it right now. I sent it in the private chat. So that takes it directly. That takes it directly to the story.
Okay. Well, I also put Can I share this link?
Yeah.
Okay. I also put the link to your book, My Date with Depression, which is on Lulu.com.
That's right. Wonderful. Yeah.
Into the chat so people can look for that book as well.
Yeah. Wonderful. Great. Thanks.
Okay. Now with that book, that one is not a fiction book. That's a nonfiction, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. And it's about my journey in regards to back in early 2000s, I experienced, which I didn't know at the time, was being in that space, you know. And the funny thing is, I wasn't writing at that time. And it was brought on by financial failures in terms of business, investments. And I went into that space. So I was living in North America, I was living in Canada. And yeah, I ended up in that space. It's only when I was going through that experience, which is described in the book in detail, that like I said before, that the answer came to me is what was I good at? Because everything I had touched, everything I was doing, everything, hadn't worked. Hadn't worked. So like I said, I made money, but it didn't last. I created business, but it crashed. I had invested in property, and that didn't, that didn't happen. So everything I had touched at that time didn't work. So like I said, when I internalized all of that failure, quote unquote, what all that I had attempted and it hadn't worked, I internalized all of that and didn't express to anyone what I was going through. And internalizing the pain ended up in me being depressed, really, and it affected not only myself but people around me. And as I was going through that journey, and answers coming to me, like I said, described in the book, that I started. It was brought to me that, okay, what is it that you're good at? What is it that people are inspired by and you enjoy doing? And the answer was writing. But like I said, in the book itself, it breaks it down in regards to what that experience was like, getting to that space and getting to that place. But then even the book itself taken a life of its own, because I began to realize that not many Black men talked about particular experiences, stresses or anxieties or being depressed. And that book took on a life of its own, because I ended up talking in various forums, talking with various men, women, in regards to having the ability to express and be vulnerable. Having the ability to just be emotive and not be ashamed by it, and not be scared by doing so.
That's great that you took it upon yourself to talk about it, because as you said, you internalized it for so long. Yeah. And there are some people who would never let that story out. They would just keep it within themselves.
Yeah.
And that may not always be true healing.
No, it's not, because it manifests itself in some other way. So So we tend, for men to a great extent, not like women, when we internalize pain or hurt, we lash out. You know what I mean? Because we don't talk. So we find other ways, or we drink, or we smoke, whatever it is. We do something which is negative to how, you know what I mean, we are as how we should be. So and for me, it was, like I said, I internalized it, and it drove me into depression. And I didn't lash out, but I was hurting people around me in my own behaviors, you know. So that book, My Day with Depression, shows that journey, and how people can, how men in particular can heal, you know, how Black men can heal from
people who could probably use both of these books. You know, The Date with Depression and The Heart of a Black Man. It just sounds like those are love letters to Black men.
Definitely, without a doubt, and more and more of us are speaking about our pain, speaking about you know, being vulnerable and being hurt, and it's okay to do so, because it helps with the healing, you know. So yeah, so My Day with Depression is one of the books, and The Heart of a Black Man, like I said, is also a very powerful book in that regard.
Okay, well, I put links to both of those books in the chat.
Wonderful, thank you.
So I encourage you to grab these books, and don't just grab them, but read them, and don't just read them, but leave reviews, because we as authors need those reviews. There are some people who will not pick up a book unless they can read a review.
Yeah.
So we need people like you to support these authors. So
totally. And one thing I would say, Rhonda, is that women who love their men buy these books, because it will help them to heal if they're in a particular space or have been in a particular place. It will enable them to grow. You know what I mean? Even if they're not in that space now, it will enable them to grow, to realize that they can become better men. You know, so and for the men who are in a particular place or space, these books will definitely help to overcome what you're going through. You know, and I encourage men to it's okay, because there are other men who have gone through what you've gone through. You know, so these books will definitely help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on my show tonight, Kwame.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you, Rhonda. It's been an honor.
Fast.
Listen, if I have something to say, I'm going to say it. You know, so, and I love sharing. So thank you for the opportunity. And people can find me. My website is going to be up in about 4 weeks' time. Actually, it's called authoritybrandbuilding.com. But they can find me as Author Kwame McPherson on Facebook, Instagram, as LinkedIn, Twitter, and they'll be able to find me that way. But like I said, but thank you for the opportunity. It's been great.
Well, thank you. And if you ever want to come back on the show, all you have to do is say the word.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. Definitely. I will do once I get one of these books finished.
Awesome. I'll be looking forward to it. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless you. You keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Thank you, my dear. You too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And thank all of you for joining me for another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. Had a great time as usual. And I just ask you guys to continue to help this show to grow so we can continue to support in the way that we're doing. If you are interested in being on the show, as I've said a few times, this show is absolutely free. This is a service to up-and-coming authors as well as established authors who want to get publicity for their books. We air on Facebook, we air on LinkedIn, YouTube. We also have a podcast. So there are a number of different ways that we are getting the story out about your books. So all you have to do is just say the word. And there's more to come. There is more to come. We will be doing Amazon live streams very soon. We're also doing, for those of you who are interested in writing and maybe you just don't know where to start, I will be hosting a free, yes, I did say free, a free 5-day masterclass on fiction writing, which will start August 23rd, and it's going to take place in my Facebook group, the Right to Win Writers Group. Look for more information on that. I'll be posting the information for that so you can join the group and be a part of that, because you have to be in the group in order to get this information. And we will not be doing replays, so you've got to make sure that you watch it. So thank you once again. And thank you, LinkedIn user. I can't see who you are, but thank you. I'm glad that you joined, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the conversation. And thank you all. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Be back tomorrow for Black Authors Matter TV, and then come back next week where we're going to be talking with 2 more exciting authors. You guys have a wonderful evening. God bless you.